Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tower Therapy. I'm here to do a pick a card reading for those out there that are seeking the answer to the question, who am I? Those that are brave enough to look inside and to, you've been on the path for long enough for this question to have risen sort of naturally. I'm not saying that this reading is supposed to give you a concrete answer, but it's supposed to help you on that quest of understanding. Alright, guys, so here we have the three piles. Choose the one that somehow like attracts you the most. So choose with your intuition, not with your eyes or your mind. All right, and yeah, take maybe a moment to choose this pile number one, pile number two, pile number three, and once you've chosen, you can fast forward to the timestamp that I provide below. Fantastic. Now I will start with pile number one. Just as you know, it is a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. They're always messages. Use your intuition to use the messages for yourself. So we have Rumi Oracle card that says Crystal Rose of Mars, number 10. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and Page of Pentacles. All right. I haven't got much space here now, have I? All right. And I also pulled 3 Crowley cards. So we have the Death. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have Strife, the 5 of Wands. All right. Well, let me read the Oracle card for you. I won't read it all because it's way too long. But I'm gonna read you the Rumi poem that is associated with it. All right. So I hope you see the light today. It's a little bit weird, huh? It's not very clear, is it? Okay, maybe it's better now. That's a beautiful card. So it says, the taste of bitterness becomes sweetness in love. The searching in the dark finds the light of faith revealed in love. Love transforms thistles into jasmine. Love layers heaven and gifts us with wings so soar into its mystery. Love transforms our every thought into a desire of the heart. Oh, love, how divine is your luring. Beauty flows from your unseen face. Your very nature is radiant with joy. You manifest vibrant hues in every flower. Your touch dazzles all creation. Every particle is attracted towards you, longing to unite and dwell in you. Rumi. Oh, that's really beautiful. And just the introduction for it is, the Divine Mother offers me her rose. How rich that gift may be. I tear my flesh on its thorns and my blood flows. I curse myself for carelessness, and yet in my desire to grasp this gift, it happens again and again. Then I realize such is the scent, its beauty. How can I be tentative in my approach? My senses are drenched in beauty, and I long to inhale the exquisite perfume, to reach for the velvet dew of the petals, soft and delicate under my touch. Perhaps it will be scrapped and I will bleed. Yet that is not enough to deter me, to prevent me from accepting this gift. The magnificence of the bloom renders the struggle to enjoy it as a worthy, noble, essential pursuit. Of course, I understand something so precious must be protected. It must be allowed to live, more than this, to thrive. So those thorns are hooks that allow for growth for those that would bear the pain of the ascent to the rose blooming heart. And those thorns are barbs that keep away those that would consume the creation without appreciating its worth and beauty. Yes, those thorns serve essential purpose. I cannot begrudge them, for I love the rose, and so I love what is necessary for her to be. So I love the thorns too. Beautiful. You look at that. There is a guidance that comes with each and every of these oracle cards. Goodness, this light is really not right. Okay. Hope it stays that way. Okay, so it's as I said, it's a long read. I'm not going to go through all of it. Let me see. Your ready for love heart can now be free from expectation and instead be open to life with curiosity and reverence. Oh, those thorns. They have served their purpose now in and for themselves, but rather that they have proven you worthy of the rose and ready now to receive its beauty, healing, and grace. Whatever your thorns are or have been, be willing to deal with them, to face them, and more importantly, to release them without any shade of doubt, shame, guilt, or recrimination, beloved. They have served, and now their purpose has been completed. The celestial rose of my promise is a gift worth so much more than any pain you are holding on to. So release to receive now. Can you sense the dew soft petals and luscious fragrance opening to you now? How very interesting. Because we have all these like transformation cards as well. You, my dear number one, I think that you've not had an easy life. You maybe suffer of some sort of trauma that had put you in this position of having these thorns. Was sort of a protective layer to keep people away, because down there at the middle there's a very soft heart and a person who's like really, really dreamy and very, very open actually to give and to receive. And you do have this pure heart, that whole heart of the rose. This card is beautiful. I keep coming back to it. So you have this like super loving, pure, beautiful center that you are aware of and connected with. It comes also of the Ace of Cups here. So you have been experiencing unconditional love. You have been experiencing that space of pure joy that comes simply from love. But you've also been wearing this heavy coat of thorns and had been maybe putting very high expectations on yourself and other people. You do come from a strong family tradition. It seems as if legacy had been heavy on you. You've been carrying this responsibility for sort of like, I don't know, continue your family line in a certain way, or continue on a certain family path, maybe with your career or with your something that's supposed to be passed on. And that can be great. Sometimes it can give us a great feeling of identity and connection with the past and the present, and feeling like there's a sense of purpose. But at times it can actually feel really, really heavy, and it feels as if we don't really have the freedom to choose what we want to do with our lives. I tend to believe that you seem to fall more into the second category, where that's been weighing heavy on you. That's because I see this Ten of Swords here. So you've been like carrying the shit of others for far too long, and it's coming to sort of like backstab you. Or this is like your perception of things, at least. I'm not saying that it's necessarily like this, but you've been perceiving it in this way. Maybe you felt like you've been followed by betrayal, and maybe this is one of the reasons why you've kept this thoughts like so strongly, like they were so strongly part of your personality, because you felt always like you were backstabbed, or like people are letting you down and abandon you. So what is even the point to show that beautiful pure heart that you are very much aware you have? And it's beautiful though, because you keep that very, very private for some of the people that make it closer to you. Maybe for those in your family with the Ten of Pentacles here. There seems to be some sort of you've been maybe followed by conflict. See, it's the Ten of Swords here with the Five of Wands here, and this conflict maybe can be small petty conflicts, but can also be something that had pushed you forward towards getting like showing the best of yourself in a way. Maybe you've been coming from a rather competitive background, and that sort of pushed you to just maybe in a weird way prove yourself, show who you are. And maybe that pushed you in a career sense like quite far, because you have the Page of Pentacles here. You've obviously in the beginning of a new of a direction of something. You're starting to understand kind of like what you want to do, and it's very possible. A lot of people have no clue what they want to do, by the way, like, what's their path in life. And I feel like you keep this youthful heart that sort of grows naturally as a child grows, and you move into the world in a sense that you have awareness of your physical senses. You have you're somewhat connected to nature and the earth, and you have this wonder, that childish wonder that we should all have, by the way. When I say childish, it's not in a mean way. When you look at things, seeing the opportunity in them, and I don't know, being like somewhat amazed of the gifts that one can find in them. And you have the Death here. The Death comes also between this Ten of Swords and the Knight of Cups. And I think there is a transformation coming through. And one of other reasons why I believe that you may have had a rather traumatic past, it's because, this is Scorpio energy. It's very transformative. Yes, it's very intense, bringing things on the table. But at the same time, it tends to attract certain situations meant for the wounds to sort of come out and being triggered, so you can see them and heal them. You do have great opportunity to heal them, though, with the Ace of Cups here. So this life, this journey that you're going through seems to be a very, very strong one. Like, there's a sense of direction. See, these two actually look in the same direction. There's a sense of purpose. There's all this drama here that had shaped you in a certain way. This Five of Wands with this whole, it's called strife in this deck. May be part of those thorns. It's something that you developed as a result of this Ten of Swords that you've experienced at some point in your life. By the way, it's still a 10, so it's again, it's very transformative. You have two tens here. 3 tens. The Celestial Rose of Maya is also 10. My goodness. So the tens, like in minor arcana, are parts of transformation, right? It's an end of a cycle. So I think that if you zoom out and you think about your soul and the journey of your soul, this particular lifetime, I think you managed to resolve certain karmic, how do they call them? Sorry. Yeah, this is resolving certain karmic issues that you've been working with for maybe many lifetimes. To grow from one to a 10, there's all in between, and for each and every one of us, it's necessary to go through all these steps. We can't really jump levels here. So these two tens, actually, these three tens are really, really good. A really, really good news for your soul as a whole. Um, yeah, I think you can be a romantic, a pure romantic, and that you've developed this defense mechanisms that tend to put, like maybe be a little bit like pokey and having that kind of humor which is meant to challenge people, to see what they're made of before you even have any type of attempt of opening up towards them. But I feel like, yeah, definitely, just like this oracle card said, behind, like, beneath all those thorns, beneath that pokiness and that perceived aggressiveness, there's that beautiful, beautiful open heart. You're able to offer so much love, and having this childlike heart renders you somewhat immune. I don't know why I'm saying this, it's so weird. It renders you somewhat immune to certain dramas that simply won't attach to you. You do carry this energy of betrayal and being left out into the cold, but I think that being a 10, you are learning as you go through your life. You are learning that this was somewhat necessary, whatever this was, and that this brings a much deeper healing. And see, you have the horizon coming here, the sun is coming out. This is going to bring a whole new cycle. So this lifetime, your soul is a kind of changing cycles. You may go through strong changes and deeper understanding of who you really are as a soul. And I think that deep down inside, behind like all these defense mechanisms, you have a really, really beautiful pure heart. And maybe a little bit too romantic, in the sense that you may be really needy at times, needing to be in a relationship, maybe tending towards codependency when you're not romantically involved. Maybe you're not feeling all that well, may tend to feel lonely. But I think that's just an aspect that can ease. It may come also from this whole legacy thing with the ten of pentacles. It may be that you grew up in a certain environment that you're used to, with maybe I don't know if you're a woman or a man, doesn't matter, like, being a little bit of mama's boy or mama's girl, daddy's girl, that sort of thing, which can lead to certain feelings of codependency and needing to really, really share. And it's beautiful that we need to share, and that can lead to really deep relationships, but it can also lead a little bit towards lean towards codependency. But I'm sure that you've had your experience with that already, and you're learning a lot from that, and it's part of your soul's journey. So roll with it and learn your lessons. And I'm so happy to meet you, number one. This seems to be like you're a wonderful person that I would love to meet in real life. All right, well, I hope that makes sense to you. Let's move on to the pile number 2. I think it was this one. If not, you'll know with the stone. All right, so pile number 2, you have Dance of the Divine Feminine, 42. Sorry, I was just into Douglas Adams recently, so 42, it just comes out. Those that know Douglas Adams know. All right, so we have the Three of Swords, we have the Page of Swords, we have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Hanged Man. All right. All right, all right. From the Crowley deck, we have the Prince of Discs, the Two of Wands, which is called the Minion, and the Moon. All right. Just like in the other deck, I will read a little bit from this Dance of the Divine Feminine, the 42. It's from it's really beautiful oracle. I love it. It's just sometimes a little bit abstract, but for when I'm really, really in the flow and connected, it makes a lot of sense. And I hope it does make a lot of sense to you too. These are beautiful, beautiful cards. Look at that. All right, so the poem that it's associated with this card is: if a tree could move from one place to another, it would not suffer the pain of the soul or the oppressive wounds. If the sun and the moon stood still like the rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. Let's see if there's more here. I have given you only a few examples. You can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. Oh, that's really beautiful and quite intense. And it makes sense of this Three of Swords here. Okay, so just the introduction. How can your feet bear to be still when the music is so lush and inviting? How can you hold yourself back from the tide of love when the horizon looms so vast and exciting? How can you not arch your back and respond with ecstasy to the lover's touch, saying in absolute submission, yes, more? You were made to move and grow, to love and flow. Even mountains change. Surrender the stodgy ways of the mind and become willing to dance to the great orchestrations of love. All right, wow. Okay, so let's just skip to the message. So this oracle brings you this message. There is something you are holding on to. A person, a place, a thing, a belief, a vision. And you need to let it go because it wants to grow. It may grow and change into something utterly different, or it may grow into exactly what you are imagining. Whichever outcome growth is happening, and you will find you enjoy the way much more with greater flow and support, less bashing of your head against the proverbial brick wall if you can let it happen. Don't worry if it seems as though your world is coming to an end or you are losing something you once loved. This is just the shaking about of the great beloved to lead you into a deeper, sweeter dance of divine being and welcome and becoming. Put your focus into your heart and realize you are more ready than you think. Now shake those hips, stamp those feet, close your eyes and clap your hands. There, that's better already. All right, my dear. Well, that seems pretty intense here. So you're being encouraged to move on from what hurt the shit out of you here. You've been carrying this energy of loss. You've been carrying this energy of heartbreak. And when with good reason. I mean, I'm sure that whatever it is that hurt you here did so quite deeply. And it marked you. This is the reading about who am I. You identify yourself with this pain. And that propelled you in a way to this search for the truth, to uncover generally the truth. Maybe you've been deceived in certain ways and you've been hurt by people's lies, maybe a three-party situation as well. Anyway, whatever happened to you in the past hurt you really, really bad. It can be from your own relationship, it can be from your parents' relationship, the way they've been treating each other, the model of the relationship, the model of the family that you received as a child, that you sort of like absorbed and embedded within you, in your DNA, in your world structure. And yeah, maybe your relationships in life had been somewhat a reflection of that. Or it can be also a different kind of loss. It can be a loss of somebody who was really, really dear to you, maybe a parent or a caretaker or a sibling or a lover, a dear friend. A loss that's been really, really marking you, and you've been identifying yourself with your loss. Your whole life so far had been somewhat driven by this loss. Okay, just realized that I don't see so much here. Sorry. All right. With this Page of Swords here, like you seem to be a student of life, a student of truth. You've been like propelled in this path of like really uncovering every little stone and see what's the truth behind that. And with the Knight of Wands here, you've been also how maybe you're somebody who's really, really going for the experience. You learn from experience. You're moving into the world through seeking the experience, the sensations, the thrill. That's probably what helped you not feel this that much, even though you kept it maybe like a jewelry box. You always kept it with you, the broken heart, as something almost. It's something that's almost like sacred to you, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. With the Knight of Wands, you've been probably traveling a lot, or you've been like called to adventure and to travel, and you really, really enjoy. I don't know, being the heart of a. It's not necessarily that much about being the heart of the party, but you enjoy to have diverse experiences, and you're learning from them, and you are light spirited and stuff. Though you do have like underneath that this layer of like really uncovering the truth, and a good communicator. Maybe you've been like delivering messages in a certain sense from people. Maybe this whole broken heart enabled you, these experiences that gave you this broken heart enabled you to understand a few layers deeper than most people understand. That enables you also to be a good communicator. But this is a page still, so you still have a little bit of that very young wonder. You're still a student of life, and you may be your whole life. There's nothing wrong with this. It is something that's like a little bit in your character, that type of communication that's a little bit innocent. You have the Hangman here, and I believe that this Hangman has to do with the feeling that you've been waiting for something to come. You've always been in that waiting period, maybe waiting for the time to heal the wounds, or maybe you've been waiting for whoever broke your heart or whatever happened to have some sort of resolution, for somebody to apologize, or for somebody to come back to you, for somebody to somehow wipe it off. Maybe you've been waiting to be saved, if that makes sense. Maybe you've been always waiting for some sort of a savior, this Prince of Discs, that it's a grounded person, and I don't know, giving you feeling like you something to center around, whether it's going to be a person. This is also like this whole spiral being created here. When I said centered around, and again, there's the circle. So I feel like you are. You have been waiting for a long time for something. Maybe you're not even aware of what you're really waiting for. Maybe you have a very clear idea about what you're waiting for by now. But this Oracle card, as you said, it just told you that move forward. This happened for a reason, happened for you to understand those deeper layers, to propel you in this journey of the Knight of Wands, to to give you a different perspective. The Hangman is also somebody who has a different perspective. In this weight, upside down, he gets enlightened, right? And the Hangman has to also look with the heart, opening the heart that's been suffering so much, and maybe you felt like protecting it in a certain way, and protecting that pain that it's been carrying, as I said, as if it's something sacred, as if it defines you. But you can't be defined by your trauma, you can't be defined by your thoughts, you can't be defined by your experiences either. You can be defined by your open heart. If you allow yourself to look into that, that's much closer to who you are. And I think that you're learning this with the Hangman here. And I think that, you have these two knights, the Prince of Discs. Oh, this is more page. The Prince of Discs is also somebody who's like, no, this is still, these are agents of transformation, right? The pages are agents of transformation. These are of expansion. So you have been, even from that place of weight, like trying to expand your horizons, and that might be in a spiritual sense, the Sagittarius energy, in the sense that you've been really pushing your boundaries through experience to understand the world better. Maybe a sick that's been it's been happening from here, it's been coming from here, and it's wonderful that it did. I don't think you really regret that it's happened, because of all the experience that you had afterwards, even though it's been painful to carry this with you. But I think you're being really cool to allow this transformation to happen, and to make use of the expansion that you created on a more physical realm, and also on the spiritual realm, to learn that it's time to let go of this pain that you've been carrying. Understand that the experience was necessary, and there's no point in holding grudges. It's time to forgive. It's time to forgive yourself. It's time to forgive the people involved in all that. And if you're holding on to somebody who passed away, for example, let them go. They are in a better place, in whatever sense. We all have our soul journey, and we have the experiences that we have for a reason. And we've been touched by those experiences for other people's lives also for a reason. You have the Two of Wands here, which is in this deck is called Dominion. So I feel like, the Two of Wands has to do with choices, and with understanding that you don't need to settle. You have the choices. In this deck, though, being called Dominion, it may be also controlling, if that makes sense. I think you do have a strong intuition, and it's been guiding you in your journeys. It's been keeping you safe. It gives you also, with this Page of Swords here, a deeper sense of understanding human nature. So your communication with people comes from a place of both intuition and observance, and you are able to take them into conversations that they're not necessarily used to, and it's probably helping them in a sense, or it's giving you that sense of safety, because you have sometimes the upper hand on them. It's easier for you to read people than for others. And if you felt like you've been always at the like this is sort of like a motive for you in your life, being at the in a fork in a road, and know that the Two of Wands energy also allows you to make the action, to make the choice, and start the action, putting the action in the direction of that choice to make it happen. And I think you're very much aware of that by now, with the Knight of Wands here, being able to move around a lot. The Knight of Wands is a very, very enthusiastic energy, but at the same time, look, he's here in the desert. So this broken heart, this pain has been also rendered you a little bit dry, in a sense that you're not so willing to connect emotionally. See, there's no cups here. Yeah, there's the moon that gives you this inner sense, this deeper sense, but it's no there's no willingness to connect. And it makes a lot of sense because you've been so hurt when you were connected. But the whole reading is about giving you the message that you are aware, you are able, and you can move on. And that will take you to a place that you haven't even dreamed of, in terms of the depth of the experience. And you are all about experience, and the knowledge that you get from there. This dance with the love. The Hangman is a lot about open heart. It's about opening your heart to connection, opening your heart to pure love, unconditional love. And you won't carry that fear any longer of rejection, of being hurt, because you realize that once your heart is open, there is no way to be rejected. My love is my love, and if you love me back, it's up to you. It's that's your journey, that's your problem. If I love you because I love you. You can't block that, you can't reject that. So it's kind of letting go of also the expectations we have from relationships. This is what the Hangman can do through that weight, through that enlightenment that it gets. So, and that change of perspective. So yeah, I hope that makes any sense to you, number 2. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy. And yeah, I think that you are getting to know yourself through the experience that you're going through right now, at a much deeper level, and that's going to be absolutely beautiful. Very well. Well, I wish you good luck in your seek, and let's move on to the next pile. All right, hello, number 3. Here is your reading. So you have the number 19, Sacred Union. You have the 4 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Page of Cups. And you have the Queen of Swords, the 8 of Swords, which is called interference here, and the Princess of Wands. All right, my dear number 3. I'm gonna read for you from the Rumi Oracle. It's beautiful. The poem from Rumi. I'm sure you're all familiar with Rumi, right? I don't need to explain that. I should have maybe at the beginning. He's an amazing poet. Do look him up if you don't know about him. Okay, so number 19. That's the fall, baby. Okay, so it's Sacred Union. Really look at that. It's such a beautiful card. So the poem from Rumi that is associated with this card says, "Only the oneness of love and the lover is eternal. Surrender your heart into this union, for all else in this world is momentary." Beautiful. And the introduction, "Stupefied with bliss, I become without thought. There is no grief in that loss. I gladly surrender my intelligence in favor of this mindlessness. It is ecstasy, rapture. The sweetness of the union, so sacred, overwhelms my senses. The lover and the beloved are my world. Nothing else exists except this love, this unity of divine masculine and feminine, and the fresh new universe that shall be born from this sacred conjoining. It happens even now between my body and my spirit, and in yours, and in his over there, and that woman passing by. All creation in sacred rapturous embrace. So shocking and wild this frenzy of loving delight without limits. Let us be swept away, my beloved, in the passionate loving that renders duality into one and tips the mind into empty ecstasy. See? Ooh la la. I normally would go just straight to guidance, but I really would like this paragraph. You lucky, lucky angel, you are to be blessed with sacred union. This union is of the lover and the beloved, the masculine and the feminine. That which appears to be opposite will no longer appear to be so. There is a coming together that is destined and divine. You are to be swept up in a wave of such love. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. I'm almost envious. All right, so let's let's go to the guidance. This oracle also comes with a particular piece of guidance for you. No matter what has been, what has succeeded, and what has appeared to fail, what has been loved and what has been lost, there is only one truth that will prevail in your life, without failure, without exception, and that is love. It is all you are truly seeking, and is behind every life experience seeking you. Do not stand back from it. Do not put yourself aside, turn down your eyes, and pretend you cannot be seen by the world. Be bold, claim the love that is your divine birthright, and know that sacred union is yours, destined in the heavens and blessed by the great beloved. Ooh la la! All right. Number 3. I'm happy to hear this because of course, this can have to do with your relationships and the way you interact with people. But I think it goes much, much deeper than that, because it's all about resolving realities. Dualities. You know, we are conditioned as human beings to see everything as a pair of opposites, good or bad, white and black. I like or I dislike. Big, small, it's always a pair of opposites, and that is the part of the human condition in a sense, but part of our journey is also to understand the absurdity of that and see things as a whole. And if you look a little bit on the inside of yourself, you see that there's always two sides of the same coin, two different aspects of the self that are in antithesis in a certain way, and they are kind of like always struggle inside in a sort of an inner conflict, in a war. Well, it seems that you have the possibility and the ability to create unity inside yourself and have these pairs of opposites coming together in what is called non-duality, understanding things as a whole, and understanding that two sides of a coin create a coin. All right, so you have 2 4s in this reading and an 8 here. I believe that you've been maybe suffering of depression in your past, in your life. Is this something that's been with you for a while, and had been sort of like putting you in this place of being incredibly protective of your resources, and having to put very strong boundaries, maybe a little bit clingy to everything, especially to the way you've been moving into the world. It's been hard for you to maybe leave the city that you grew up in, or the country that you came from, or the house that you grew up in, or you've been for a long time. You tend to attach easily to things that are forming your physical reality in a sense, maybe even relationships. And this depressive episodes, this period had been in a sense very, very useful for you, because it forced you into self-reflection. With the High Priestess here, it gave you a lot of information about the nature of the world, about the nature of duality. See, you have the black and white here, you have the columns that are representing, symbolizing the connection with divinity. This is the vertical columns, right? And you get them both. You have this ability of seeing through many layers to the down into the soul of yourself and of people. And this is what renders you gives you this ability to resolve differences, to resolve dualities, to bring maybe two opposite ideas together and understand that they are somewhat connected, and that you can have, I don't know, light without the dark. You can't have white without the black. You cannot have absence without the presence, and presence without the absence. It's always on the negative, positive thing, as in, I don't know, do listen to Alan Watts. He has an amazing talk about the yin and yang and the black and white and this whole duality thing. And I think that you do get it. You get it at an intuitive level. You have this inner authority and inner wisdom that's been coming from this being like somewhat within yourself, introverted, with strong boundaries, and a little bit maybe apathic in a sense, like there were universe had been showing you maybe opportunities and gave you some sort of love there, but you haven't been able to really see it because the universe, the world loses its flavor when we are in depression. And that's a good reason for that, because there are deep wounds that we need to look at, and everything slows down on the outside and loses its appeal in order to have the space to look within. It's your body's mechanism and your mind's mechanism to ask for your attention in a certain direction. And you have the Page of Cups here. So your subconscious has been making contact with you. You're getting messages from your subconscious. You're getting like downloads also from the universal consciousness here. You start seeing, like, understanding your subconscious, and you start understanding your experiences and the messages that come from the dark side of your mind. And you started like maybe understanding them and relating them to the universal archetypes from the universal consciousness and the collective consciousness as for us as humans, as beings. And this been maybe really helpful for you to communicate this stuff, almost like a good therapist in a sense. Maybe you've been playing this role. If you're not an actual therapist, maybe you've been sort of playing this role around in your communities, being always the one that is good at giving advice. It's like nursing ideas, communicating ideas. But you've been also very, very closed and protected. The Queen of Wands energy is somebody who's really, really, again, very, very strong boundaries. The Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords talk about incredibly strong boundaries, and cutting people off maybe a little bit too fast, because it's been there's that need to protect that cord that's been, it's somewhat wounded. And see, you have the Eight of Swords here, which in this deck is called interference. And I love the Eight of Swords in this deck much more than the one in the Waite deck, because I feel like the graphics of it is very telling. You have these two swords, by the way, these two, like understanding of the duality and understanding of the world, and you have the downloads for both of them, right? They come from up and they go down. And then you have all these swords here that interfere with this clear insight and thoughts. This is your mind blocking you. This is your mind telling you stories. This is your mind blocking the understanding and the knowledge from the subconscious. And it made it needed to do that because, all these strong boundaries, all this pain that you've been with, all this knowledge that you get, maybe you weren't ready for it. But at the same time, it can also keep you locked in this space of depression and telling you stories about your worth that are unreal. Maybe telling you that you can't do whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you feel that you're like so knowledgeable and so you understand so much, but you're afraid to put it out there because you feel like you've been disconnected from the world. You've been like in this thick layer where you've been isolated. And what keeps you isolated is your thoughts right now and the stories that you make about yourself. And I feel like you do have this fire energy that can allow you to really flow. Look at this lady has been riding this wave. She's going all the way, and the tiger is a symbol for power, for personal power and in personal empowerment. So you do have the strength, you do have the power, you do have the ability to flow. You need to sort of allow this interference to, well, it's important to identify maybe these thoughts, that the stories that you've been telling yourself that kept you imprisoned within your own mind, and slowly let them go. I feel like by you understanding this and by you making your way out of the prison of your own mind here and learning how to, I'm not saying drop your shields completely, we can't do that. Those shields were put there for a reason. Of course they start working against us at some point. They keep us isolated and we can't really connect, and it's harder to make sense of our own downloads from our inner wisdom and the divine, if you want to call it that way. But the point is that as you learn to identify each and every story, you connect them with an archetype and with a story that you realize is not yours. And this is probably part of your real journey, is to unlearn the stories and to go and resolve each and every duality, see two aspects of the same coin, of the same, you see, like we are both the hero and the villain in each and every story. And when we're in the middle of the story, we leave the story, we're trapped in the story, so it's much harder to tell. We're just like living it and we're suffering from it, and we're like, but sometimes we can just step out of it, and just as we watch TV we realize that all those people are in the TV, and we identify with both sides in a certain degree, and there's always going to be a villain and a hero for a reason, because there's a conflict and duality that needs to be resolved. And you will, my love, you will. With the Sacred Union card here, you're going straight at it, and you're understanding you're understanding the fabric of the world and how our relative versus absolute reality function, and how each and every one of us are living the heroes of our own stories and what we identify with and narratives. It gives you very, very deep knowledge, and you can learn how to flow with it. Okay, number 3, I hope that makes sense to you. It's a really, really beautiful reading. I am very happy to get a glimpse of who you are, of all 3 of you, actually the 3 groups. If you identify, if you like and share, subscribe, if you relate to it, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you here soon.